Oh, here we go. We meet again. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in one of those moods. This is the reality of working as a cinematographer. We're not going to fancy it up. I'm not going to fluff it up and make it seem like, oh, it's fantastic. It's great. These are the challenges that you'll face, and this is how you'll be pushed, and everything's going to be rosy and fantastic. No, we're going to look at a daily dose of reality. Here it is, coming at you, courtesy of Collateral Beauty. We've looked at it a few different times now. But here, I want to specifically talk about what to do when you're not very good. Now, this is going to be it's going to be very practical to you because chances are you're not very good, right? I'm lumping you in the same camp as me. And if there's a little trick that'll make us seem better than we are, I think we should at least experience up until now, and my career has told me, if there's a trick that you can do to make you appear better at your job, if you want future employment, I'd grasp onto that trick, right? I wouldn't be shunning that little trick up your sleeve because it's a trick. All right, this is called creating a career. This is how you do it. Okay, if you don't have any money, what's the problem? Things cost money, okay? Well, less things are going to cost less money. So less variables when you're dealing with cinematography usually means you can focus on the variables that remain. So I'm not that good at juggling. Could I juggle one ball? Yeah, I'm pretty good at juggling a ball, right? Sometimes I might drop it. I don't have the best hand-eye coordination. Probably better than you, but not that great. I'm not Jerry Rice. So I don't want to do, one ball, I'm okay. Two balls, oh, you're going to test the limits. Three balls, I'm out, right? I'm not juggling. That's exactly what I'm doing in cinematography. I want show me the easiest path. Is there a path that I have not discovered yet that is easier than what I have been doing? If so, please tell me. For the love of all that is backlight, I want something that is easier. Give me that. So how are we going to do a nighttime exterior, not the most complicated way? Well, we can do a few different things to learn that. Probably the best way is to see what has been done at a very high level, and then what information can we glean from that scenario? How do we set ourselves up for success with not using a ton of instruments, not using a ton of level, not needing a ton of extras, keeping it very, very simple, not many lens changes. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. How do we eliminate what can go wrong? We eliminate the possibilities of anything, of any variable getting into the mix. Lens changes, that's troublesome, right? You got your space cadet friend, Billy, who's never been a first AC in his life. All of a sudden you roped him into your short film. He drops the lens at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's it. You don't have insurance. It's over. You're dead. You're probably not dead, but the project is, and you go home crying in your little soup. Oh, your little short film's gone. That's life, kid, right? Don't bring little Billy next time. Change the lens yourself. In fact, actually don't change the lens yourself. That is one thing I will not do. Right? Even if we are low on numbers, if it's like, oh, everybody, it's a teamwork thing. We're all chipping in to make this commercial or this film a little bit better. Like everybody, let's lend a hand. And okay, it's time to change the lens. I'm not doing it, right? You can change the lens. I'm not. I've seen enough damage on set from experienced people changing lenses that is the one time I probably don't want to be around the camera. So I'm not going to do it. Same as if you're going to change mags on set, any media change, like if anybody yells out, hey, can you just hit the button for me and format the card? Nope, not going to do it. Like that's somebody's job. It's not mine. I want to be a team player. I don't know which button is it. It's kind of fiddly. I can't reach it. Can you do it? Yeah, thanks. Okay. I didn't plan on talking about any of that, but here we go. Collateral Beauty at night. Keep it simple. Can we do it? I don't know. Let's find out. Okay, this is a nice and easy scene. It just goes to show you how you can do things very efficiently if you think about the lens size and the frame size that you're going to have. We're going to start with this little push in to Helen Mirren here. And basically we are balancing to this right here that we can't control. Maybe let's say we don't own this thing in the background. Maybe this isn't a Will Smith movie. We don't have the budget back there. We're balancing to those lights that we can't control. All we're going to do is put in an overhead light. We're going to walk in with a Steadicam, and then we're going to have basically 2 angles that we play out this entire scene. So first things first, if we come out wider, let's come out to our full screen here. Really, I mean, this is not attractive lighting, right? But there's not too much we can do here because we got to get the light between the building, which is here, this little frame here, and Helen Mirren. So if we want to see your face at all, we basically have to put the light right on the building, right? And again, you see the wet down, all the stuff that we've already talked about. Nice little shadow here as he walks out. As he walks out, where do they stop? First of all, watch this. This is the big thing here. Watch this shadow, right? We go from top light to the opposite. That is heavy shadow. Now we are playing this down the line. We're using all the tricks of the framework, shoot along these buildings to create depth, have constant cars in the background changing up the lighting, little colored light over the top here, backlight here. Now, there's a few different ways that you can play night backlight. I suggest one way to do it. It's slightly more expensive. And when I say slightly more expensive, it's definitely significantly more expensive. Normally what you would do is, let's say here, we decide where we can't see, we put a bucket up there really far away, either in between these two buildings here, right? You're gonna have a bucket like up here, shining the light this way, and that's what gets you on the reflective floor from the wet down. That's what gives you all this level back here. You still get the darkness, so you feel darkness, but here you get all the level of the M90. And that M90 could also play as the top light. The problem doing that is if you want to change something here, you either have to hang diffusion over the edge to soften the M90, or you got to call up to the person in the bucket. It just takes forever. Easier thing to do is go separate. And this is usually true for any night scene. You're going to go separate for the background ambient, right, which is all this. And then here off the building, you're going to have your smaller fixture that is significantly more controllable, that we can angle more, that we can be much more precise with because it's on the ground. It's more immediate. You can just reach out and basically touch it if you're standing there. But that is this, and you get all the benefits here. Little edge down this way, edge here, and this is classic framework stuff. But from here, all we're going to do is punch in. Look at the cars in the background, right? Just constant stream to break up the color, to make it more interesting. Same exact thing for his lighting. And if you look at the glasses, like this is not an accident, slightly tilted forward, no reflections. That's hard to do. Still get the eye light in there, and just blobbiness in the background. Absolute blob. And you can also see the exact same reflection that's on her side is there, right? You just move the bucket over. So you only need one bucket on the day. As we come in, completely out of focus, right? Nowhere near in focus. We missed by a foot on this shot. And this one's better, but this is the same lighting that we used for Will Smith, right? The team now, the electrics and the grips and the gaffers, they would know this through and through by now, right? We're doing the single. Let's bring in our A-team lighting, just a little tiny edge over the top, and really, really simple. The only thing you have to worry about really is the background levels. Right, that's probably most likely what you're going to forget and leave to last if you're new. And we go through, and this is the entire scene, right? Super, super simple. We got the cars in the background providing that ambient back there, and that's it. Like, this is the easiest scene to get. We're strapped for time. What are we going to do? Well, let's do a Steadicam push out the door, right? And as we do Steadicam push out the door, look at this lady in the background. Like, I wonder, what are they doing? A movie over there? I wonder if Will Smith is out. Do I know those two people? No, don't know them. Anyway, really, really simple. Then we're going to go over the shoulder, play the exact same lighting setup because we can switch. Like, we'll use the exact same lights for this angle and for this angle, so we don't have to change anything. Plays nice and dark in the shadows. We use all the background lights of the city, and we are laughing. So that's our look here. Next time, you maybe slightly, if you are deficient in budget, stay closer. Make it easier. But again, if you can't make your close-up look like this, right, you could do this exact lighting setup at home. You can do this right now, probably with the lights that you have on you right now. You can do this in any equipment rental place in the world. Will have enough equipment to do this shot. If you can do this, you just make it bigger, expand it out, plan ahead. You know the exact elements that you need. You just have to recognize how to do that and make it bigger once you're there on the day. And that's just about explaining and communicating with the team. Say, okay, don't forget, we're going to need level for these background buildings. So let's set them up, which is exactly why you always hear cinematographers turning off lights. Okay, well, let's cover all of our bases. And then when we get there, now let's start to make our incremental changes that make the big difference. So something to think about. Okay, you tell me, am I wrong? Is there an easier way to do that scene? Is there an easier way to write it up? Could they be standing in the middle of the road? Would that make things more difficult, right? This is like a little choose your own adventure. If the response to any of the questions that you pose at a specific scene is it's more difficult, you're going to screw it up, right? That's just spoken from experience. Anytime you get on that little path and you're like, where should they be? On the sidewalk or in the middle of the street? Well, people don't normally stand in the middle of the street, so that's probably going to make it more difficult. Sidewalk. Okay. Well, should we have the camera on the inside or the outside? Should it be near the road or on the inside of towards the shop side? Which is going to be more difficult? Well, where's the light actually going to come from? What kind of light do we have? Do we have anything we can boom over? Do we have a moon box? Do we have a huge backlight? Do we have a wet down? Do we have any of those things? I don't know. It's all of a sudden getting very complicated. If there was only somebody's job who was to figure this stuff out, that would be wonderful. Guess what? That's your job. Your job is not putting up the lights. Your job is not putting the settings into the camera. Maybe when you're starting, because no one will do that for you. But as you progress, as you make it higher and higher, what's more valuable, right? Setting the entire team up. You got 30 people in grip, lighting, camera. They're all looking to you to set them up to be as successful as possible. And how do you do that? By throwing them all under the bus, like making the scene as complicated and as difficult as possible and shooting on a 14mm lens? Probably not, right? If you want friends, lots of people like friends. Some don't, right? They're psychopaths. We don't want to be psychopaths. That's just a life lesson. But you don't want to make things more complicated for your friends unless you don't like them, right? You want to play a little joke on them. You say, okay, we're going to do this on the 14mm, and you see what they say. Once or twice, maybe funny. 3 times, you're going to need a new crew. Okay. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Many thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.